Because of college football's popularity, a lot of attention toward the best teams in the nation is directed at those at the helm of the offense. College quarterbacks make up some of the most talented prospects in college sports, and even if they don't make a career for themselves in the NFL, their legend can be made from their college careers. Before we get started on our list, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. With that being said, here are the 20 greatest college quarterbacks of all time. Number 20, Roger Staubach. Roger Staubach's legendary career in both the NFL and college precedes itself. When Staubach joined the U.S. Naval Academy in 1961, he only gained a chance to play quarterback because of the team's failing offense when playing a game against Cornell. Staubach would finish that game with 2 touchdowns and 88 rushing yards, finishing off Cornell 41-0. After that game, he earned a starting role and went on to win the Heisman Trophy and the Maxwell Award. Number 19, Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston only played 2 years in college, but his freshman year at Florida State was one of the most dominant seasons we've ever seen from a freshman quarterback. There are almost too many awards and records to count from Winston that year, but most notably, he led the Seminoles to a 13-0 season, winning the national championship and becoming the youngest player at the time and second freshman to win a Heisman Trophy. Winston has a lot to figure out in the NFL, but there is no doubt he dominated his college days. Number 18, Colt McCoy. Well, he never won the Heisman Trophy. He shredded defenses playing for the Longhorns, setting numerous school and NCAA records in the process. It's not an easy task taking the reins from a player like Vince Young, and McCoy would face a bit of a sophomore slump. But he persevered to become the winningest quarterback in Division I history until it was broken a few years later. Number 17, Lamar Jackson. The current NFL MVP showed off his unique skill set during his 3 years with the Louisville Cardinals. In the very first game of his sophomore season, Jackson set a school record for total touchdowns by securing a ridiculous 8 touchdowns in just the first half of a game. While Jackson had a great college career, his sophomore season would be his best, as he became the youngest player ever to win a Heisman Trophy. Number 16, Doug Flutie. Boston College owes a lot to Doug Flutie, as his steady improvements into a historic senior year made the program at Boston College far more attractive. In his final year that would see Flutie become the first quarterback to win the Heisman Trophy in 10 years, his talent culminated in a wild game against the Miami Hurricanes aired on CBS. In a high-scoring, back-and-forth game, Flutie threw a Hail Mary pass with only seconds remaining and connected on one of the craziest college plays you'll ever see. The nationally aired game created the Flutie effect and skyrocketed admission applications for Boston College. Number 15, Joe Burrow. If we were ranking the greatest single-season performances from college quarterbacks, Joe Burrow would certainly be hovering around the top. While Burrow didn't earn the starting role for his first 2 years at Ohio State, he would tower above everyone in his final year at LSU. Burrow threw for the most touchdowns in Division I history that season and shredded his way to a national championship in some of the most impressive bowl games seen from a quarterback. Between the semifinals and the championship game, the Heisman winner threw a ridiculous 956 yards with 14 total touchdowns. Number 14, Danny Wuerffel. Danny Wuerffel proved himself to be one of the best players in Gators history. Throughout his 4 years with the team, Wuerffel led the Florida Gators to 4 consecutive Southeastern Conference titles. While Wuerffel played at a top-tier level during each year at Florida, it would all culminate his last year. There, he won the Heisman Trophy and would rout the Seminoles in the national championship game. Number 13, Andrew Luck. Luck was as consistent and efficient as it gets in his 3-year run at Stanford. It's not easy to break a ton of records at a university where Steve Sennstrom and John Elway played, especially in a system that had put a lot on its running game. But the consistency of Luck allowed him to revitalize the program at Stanford. During his 3 years, Luck finished second in Heisman votings 2 years in a row and broke Pac-12 records for both career passing efficiency rating and career completion percentage. Number 12, Johnny Manziel. Johnny Football has become synonymous with college football, but his career started off in a little bit of obscurity. After he redshirted his first year at A&M, his role as starting quarterback was still uncertain. But after his game against Arkansas in the first year of starting, there would be no question who would be starting for the Aggies when Mansell produced 557 yards of total offense, breaking the school's 43-year record. Mansell would go on to break his own record that same season and go on to become the first freshman to win both the Heisman and the Davy O'Brien Award. Number 11, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield may be the first walk-on true freshman to break out in his very first game, where he broke the Texas A&M single-game completion record and came only 4 completions short of the NCAA Division I record. However, Mayfield shined brightest when he left the Aggies for Oklahoma. He would finish in the top 5 in the Heisman voting for his first 2 years with the Sooners, but it wouldn't be until last year where Mayfield easily nabbed the trophy, getting 86% of the first place votes, the most in college football history. He also became the first walk-on to ever win the Heisman Trophy. Number 10, Marcus Mariota. By the time he left Oregon, it was clear that he was the most explosive and best quarterback to ever come through the program. Mariota was the first starting freshman quarterback in decades and led his team to a 12-1 record in just his first year. Mariota was incredibly efficient for the Ducks, even setting a Pac-12 record by throwing 353 passes without an interception. Even though the Ducks lost the national championship game, Mariota's last year was just as individually successful as many thought, as he went on to win the Davy O'Brien, Walter Camp, and Maxwell Awards, along with a Heisman Trophy. Number 9, Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore was all business for the Boise State Broncos, giving them talent and consistency like they had never seen from a quarterback in their program. In his 4 years with the team, Moore boasted records of 12-1, 14-0, 12-1, 12-1, setting an NCAA Division I record for the most career wins. During that time, Moore racked up over 14,000 passing yards and a 142-28 touchdown to interception ratio. Moore may have never won the Heisman, but he showed a great amount of consistency in his 4 years that kept Boise State relevant. Number 8, Peyton Manning. As the best NFL quarterback on this list, it's no surprise that Manning's greatness, well, it started in college. It was expected that Manning would attend Ole Miss, where his father went, but Manning decided to attend Tennessee, angering Ole Miss fans who would berate his family for leaving them without the generational talent. During his time at Tennessee, Manning brought his team to the top of the rankings while finishing top 8 in Heisman votings each of his last 3 years. In his final year with the team, Manning would finish runner-up in the Heisman voting, win the Maxwell and Davy O'Brien Award, and nearly bring his school a national title. Number 7, Cam Newton. After 2 years at Florida playing backup for Tim Tebow and gaining some controversy to his name, Newton transferred to Blinn College, where he would dominate, becoming the only 5-star recruit coming from a high school or junior college, eventually landing him in Auburn for the next year. During that year with Auburn, Newton absolutely dominated, making crazy highlight plays, setting numerous records, and leading his team to an SEC and national championship. Along with his team's success, Newton won the Heisman Trophy in a landslide and forwent his last year with Auburn to play in the NFL. Number 6, Deshaun Watson. While Watson earned the starting QB role for Clemson as a true freshman, a plethora of injuries would keep him from reaching his true potential. It wasn't until his sophomore year that he would show just how potent his game was. Leading his team to a 12-0 regular season, Clemson was ranked number 1, yet lost to number 2 Alabama. Regardless of the team's result, Watson tore up the nation's best defense, setting a national championship record for total yards with 478 yards along with 4 touchdowns. Watson would redeem his team the following year, showing out once again and beating Alabama to end Clemson's decades-long drought. Along the way, Watson would also become the first player in over a decade to win back-to-back Davy O'Brien Awards. Number 5, Tommy Frazier. Tommy Frazier headed the offense of perhaps the greatest college football team of all time. Frazier led his team to back-to-back championships in 1995 and 96, becoming one of 5 quarterbacks to have done so since the 50s, and he is only one of those 5 to do it without losing or tying once during those 2 years. Frazier was also the only player to ever be named Most Valuable Player of 3 consecutive national championship games. By the end of his dominant college career, Frazier was named as the backup quarterback to Sports Illustrated NCAA Football All-Century Team. Number 4, Matt Leinart. Matt Leinart must have learned quite a bit from understudying Heisman winner Carson Palmer. As his first year being trusted with the starting quarterback role, Leinart led USC to an 11-1 record and was named Rose Bowl MVP after beating the University of Michigan. As good as that season was, things would only get better for Leinart, leading his team to 2 straight 12-0 seasons, eventually winning the Heisman Trophy and a national championship his junior year, and losing the national championship in a game for the ages his senior year. Regardless, Leinart set himself apart on a dominant USC team. Number 3, Vince Young. During Vince Young's first 2 seasons at the University of Texas, he was attempting to find his spot with the team and find some playing time consistency among the great team. It wasn't until his sophomore year that Young started to dominate for the Longhorns. Young led the team to an 11-1 record and won their first Rose Bowl game. Young gained the reputation of being a dual-threat quarterback, and that carried throughout his incredible junior season. The Longhorns boasted an undefeated season and were faced up against a USC team that was being discussed as one of the best college football teams ever, with 2 Heisman winners, including the previously mentioned Matt Leinart. Young dominated, going for 467 yards and 3 touchdowns, including the game-winning drive. The win earned him MVP honors, and he was shortly thereafter given the Davey O'Brien Award. Number 2, Steve McNair. Even though Steve McNair was offered a scholarship to play running back for the University of Florida, he wanted to play quarterback for a historically black university, so he decided to go and play for Alcorn State University. There, McNair dominated, breaking numerous records with his passing and running skills. In his senior season with the team, McNair produced an insane 6,281 total yards, along with 56 touchdowns, landing him in 3rd for the Heisman voting. McNair's total career passing yards held the record until 2018, and his total gained yards record still stands to this day. And number 1 on our list of the best college quarterbacks of all time is Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow was simply incredible in his college days with Florida. While he didn't outright gain the starting role in the first year with the team, he played a big part in their national championship and earned himself the starting role for the next season. During his next year, Tebow dominated the college football landscape, putting up big numbers and setting multiple records. Not even injury could stop Tebow, as in one game against Florida State, he threw for 3 touchdowns and rushed in 2 more, all while fracturing his hand in the 3rd quarter. Tebow went on to win the Heisman, and in his next year, another national championship. In his final year with the Gators, Tebow was still dominating, but they fell just short of a national championship. By the end of his college career, Tebow held 5 NCAA, 14 SEC, and 28 team records. So, that's our list. Is there anyone we missed? Let us know who you think is the best college quarterback ever in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And like always, have an awesome day.